Hello everyone, Jason Alea back here again, and today we're going to be talking about spoilers for Jurassic World Dominion. Now the film came out a while ago and has made a ton of money. It's now over $400 million at the box office, so all in all it seems to be doing pretty well. We'll see how the second weekend goes, but right now we're going to talk about spoilers for the film. I apologize that this is not a video cam, just the audio. I've been having problems with video cam not being able to upload the entire thing, but I had to stick with this. Now, so for starters, the film opens up with a monologue and a recap of what happened before. Now, this is where my first problem comes in. This is basically just recap of Fallen Kingdom just to catch you up. This would have been so much cooler if they kept the prologue. That would have been better because they decided to tell instead of show, and that means that they think that the audience is kind of retarded. I don't know. They think that we cannot remember. But you know what? It is what it is. I would have preferred the prologue, honestly. That's my first problem. And then after that, we catch up with Claire as she's trying to protect the dinosaurs, and Owen is trying to wrangle up dinosaurs, and they're both also trying to take care of Maisie, and Blue is also living literally next to them, and I think Blue is purposely doing that because Owen was one of the closest members that she knows of, and she's also taking care of her newborn baby, and so I guess she sort of feels more protective around Owen, and that's why she's near him. Unfortunately, some dino wranglers catch up with Blue and kidnaps her baby Beta and also Maisie Lockwood, who is sort of in angst teenage mode. And then this leads to Owen and Claire go on a rescue mission across Malta to the Dodson in Biosyn Valley, and they're on a journey to try and find Maisie Lockwood. On the other side, Alan Grant, Ellie Saloni, and Malcolm are infiltrating Biosyn and are trying to figure out what is causing all the crops to go that are not Biosyn created. And Ellie Sattler persuades Alan Grant to join her into finding out what's going on. They infiltrate Biosyn, they come across a few dinosaurs along the way, and basically they're starting to figure out that Malta is using these locusts to try and basically be the head of everything in the world, food products. They're trying to get ahead, they're trying to be number one, and they're trying to take as much control as they can, which is also why they are trying to take the dinosaurs. Also, they're using that for control. They're trying to get as much power as they can, and they're also using the locusts as a way for humans to rely more on their products. So they're using both dinosaurs and insects for their own power gain. Now, I can see why a lot of people have a lot of problems with the locust subplot. To me, it's very interesting. The dinosaurs still have a part to play, though a small part, and I will admit that it would have been nicer if the dinosaurs had a little bit more focus in the plot. But this is still very Michael Crichton-esque, and I feel like it would be something he would have done. Granted, I feel like he would have written a much better story if he was still alive, but this still feels very Crichton-esque in terms of the themes and implications, and I really like this addition. So one of my favorite moments of this film has to be the Therizinosaurus reveal. I'm sorry if I seem all over the place. I just want to talk about some of my favorite moments and some of my least favorite moments and get into spoilers detail on them. Now, there's an Dinosaurus scene after Claire parachutes out from the plane in which Kayla, Watts, and Grady are in. She gets attacked by a bunch of pteranodons, and when she lands, Therizinosaurus comes out, swipes Bambi away with its claws, and it seems to be blind also, and it seems to use echolocation to find food and make sure that nothing is trying to hunt him. This makes this dinosaur probably the scariest dinosaur I've seen in the Jurassic Park franchise in quite a while. I know the Indominus Rex is pretty scary at times, but Therizinosaurus, I never felt this much fear in a Jurassic Park film since the Lost World Jurassic Park. That movie is still, to me, the second best sequel. It is probably still the scariest of the Jurassic Parks, but this scene alone harkens back to that film a whole lot in terms of its suspense and build up and cinematography. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. Another moment that I really had fun with was the Malta scene, more particularly the underground part of it all. It's just so outlandish and out there, but in terms of the Jurassic World we are in now, I could see this happening in this universe. Seeing all these dinosaurs go on little battle rings, fighting each other to the death, and seeing the Allosaurus and Carnotaurus escape, that was a whole lot of fun. The Velociraptors are also pretty cool, even though they are being weaponized again. I don't know why that subplot is still around. That has been my least favorite aspect of these Jurassic World movies ever since the first movie came out. I could never get behind that. But other than that, it led to a pretty cool chase scene in Malta, in which the Velociraptors are chasing Owen in a motorcycle, and I'll admit I had fun with it. I can understand why some people may think it's outlandish, but to me, this still is that mix of Indiana Jones and Jurassic Park that Controversy has been going for throughout this entire trilogy, and feels more akin to what this trilogy is going for, and I like it for that. I can understand why a lot of people may not, but to me personally it was enjoyable, even though it does get a bit too ridiculous at times. One of my major problems has to be Dodson. As a character, he's not the most how do I say it? He's not the most well written of them all, though his performance and dialogue given, I will admit, I was digging it. I like the few little quirks that he got, though. I will admit, Campbell Scott does go a bit too far with the chewing peanuts thing. I mean, that's the most villain trait I could ever think of for a guy like this. But overall, Dodson worked for the movie. He works for what the themes are in terms of corporate people trying to get on top no matter what it takes, and will sacrifice safety of others for that. He embodies that pretty well overall. But I would wish his character would have been given a lot more depth, and we would explore a lot more why he's doing the things he's doing. This is a finale, and I would love if the villain is really well written, like we get Thanos level threat. I mean, you know what I'm trying to say. But all in all, I will admit, looking back, there isn't much to spoil that the trailer hasn't given out. The final battle with the Therizinosaurus and the Giganotosaurus and the T-Rex was pretty cool, though I will admit the Indominus Rex Raptor and T-Rex fight was a lot cooler and had a lot more focus. My main problem with this battle was that it focused a little bit too much on the human characters instead of the actual spectacle. I would love more of the Giganosaurus versus T-Rex, seeing that. And this is where the prologue would have helped it immensely to make this final battle feel a lot more impactful. Considering we want to see more of the T-Rex, we want to see a redemption arc. This is where I feel like the prologue should have been kept. But yeah, all in all, this was still a pretty cool fight. The Giganosaurus gets killed pretty cool. Before that, the Giganosaurus attacking the characters after they finally meet up. That was all in all awesome. The cinematography and intensity of it all. The moment where Ian Malcolm was with the fire and he throws it at the Giganosaurus' mouth and it turns into a dragon. That was kind of silly but epic to see. The cast, all in all, do a great job. They had good banter with one another. Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler, and Malcolm were really good on screen together, despite a few moments of dialogue like flying to DMs. That was kind of cringe. But all in all, the cast all do a pretty good job. Ramsey Cole is a pretty interesting character as he's helping Ian Malcolm in the original cast try to infiltrate Biosyn, and he's trying to do the right thing. He's one of my favorite characters. All in all, there isn't much to spoil that the trailer hasn't given out. It's not as bad as Fallen Kingdom, thank God, but I feel like the trailer should have, dialed it back just a tiny bit, and maybe added the prologue. If the prologue was added in, this movie would probably get a much better response. And all in all, I just found this more of an entertainment guilty pleasure kind of movie with fun characters, fun action, cool cinematography, really good music by Michael Giacchino. Contravero did the movie pretty well in terms of directing. It's just the writing I feel like was a problem. And while I think this is much better written film than Pacific Rim Uprising, Emily Carmichael still has quite a bit to learn. And I will admit, maybe they should have brought someone a little bit smarter. I feel like Derek Contravero and Emily Carmichael, the writers for this trilogy, were not fit for the writing part of the job, and the job should have been given to somebody else. All in all, I still had a pretty good time with the film. I still found it entertaining. I will stick to my grade in terms of an entertainment factor. I still think it's a pretty well made movie. It follows up some themes from Fallen Kingdom pretty well, including Maisie Lockwood's storyline, in which she's actually the natural child of her mother, a clone child given by birth. That's a little bit convoluted, but still pretty interesting to explore. Again, pretty Michael Crichton-esque. I just feel like the writing should have been given a few more look at before it got passed. But all in all, still had a good time with this film. What do you guys think? Do you enjoy the film? Do you not enjoy the film? I will understand both sides, honestly. Just don't be toxic about it and don't argue about it and others' opinions, because all in all, it's just people's opinions if they enjoy or not enjoy the film. Let's just all try to be civil here, because the past few days, yeesh, it's been a war. That's all I could say. Okay, so that's it for the spoiler review. Ain't much to spoil, I know, I'm sorry. But I still had a good time with the film, and I would recommend it if you just want to have a fun time at the theater. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys next time.